What's up, everybody? I'm Tam, and welcome to Tam's Psych Advice. Today, I'm going to do an ENFJ life where I like to share some personal things, and I haven't done one of these in a while. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because if you don't, you may never find my channel again because my channel is hard to find. So, what's my style of talking about Myers-Briggs? I think I have a street smart style, and some people might laugh at that or disagree with that, but for lack of a better word, it would probably be a little bit street stylish because everybody is into cognitive functions, for example, which I think are important. And you can watch, there's tons of channels that focus solely on cognitive functions. My style is to divvy off of that. I feel like you can find that somewhere else. I don't have the patience. I mean, that's just the truth to solely do that because that's not how my mind works. My mind is more of a survival style type of Myers-Briggs user. I first learned Myers-Briggs in college because they were heavily into Myers-Briggs, and I loved it so much that there were college professors who let me take it over, and I would go into classrooms and help people figure out their MBTI. I was so hooked. But for me, it was more out of necessity. In fact, when I started this channel, I had no intentions of talking about Myers-Briggs at all. It was just going to be psychology, sharing what I know. And one day I took a risk and I thought people were going to laugh at me. And I did an ENFJ video, and the whole time I was pretty terrified and intimidated because I felt like other people share their knowledge about Myers-Briggs, not me, because I have my own rhythm, my own things that I've learned from observing people, watching people, surviving people. So for me, it was sort of my little secret that I used to help me cope with people, understand them better, figure them out so that I could feel comfortable, so that I could deal with my own social anxiety issues and just my sort of push-pull nature of dealing with people and just kind of having something that helped me navigate and understand people better, but just in situations where I felt really shy or uncomfortable or got my feelings hurt or just wanted to understand, how do I work with these people? How do I befriend those people? It helped me to learn Myers-Briggs. And I don't know if it's a good thing to know Myers-Briggs or if it's a clutch or a crutch or something that I use way too much when it comes to people skills, but I think it's helped my ENFJ intuition. So I say I have a street style because I sort of go by the seat of my pants on things, like how am I interpreting things. And some of the things that I share in my videos are different from anything you'll probably find in any other people's videos because I fuse MBTI with just what I've learned on my own, regardless of a cognitive function. I mean, I'm almost tempted to say, so what, who cares? I mean, I think it's important. I think it gives you a layer and an understanding and a richer or a tactical or practical, or it's a good teacher, but that isn't my style. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what my gut feeling tells me about an ESFP or about an INTJ or an INFP or an INTP, what I've learned about them. That's not necessarily in a book, not necessarily in a cognitive function, not necessarily cookie cutter defined by the I, the N, the T, and the P. And that's why I also argue with people sometimes, but it's to no avail when somebody is like, "Oh, I'm not this type because I'm an introvert." It's like, you're an extrovert. You get energy from people. Or they're like, "I am not an introvert. I am an extrovert." I'm not looking at an E or an I per se. I'm looking at the whole picture. I'm looking at how each person makes me feel. What is their aura when I'm in contact with them? And there are times when I get someone's MBTI wrong at first, and then over time, things start coming together and a picture starts forming. As an ENFJ, I think the street smart, quote unquote, comes in because I want to figure out people. I have a natural curiosity. It's like a sport to use your intuition to step into the shoes of someone else. So sometimes I don't give a flying fig what a cognitive function says. I want more than that. The cognitive function, yes, you need those. It can teach you a lot of things, but I want to build on that. I don't want to just be stuck on a cognitive function or what does censor say about someone or what does the judging component. Let's put it all together. What does the whole person look like? I am not a it's like I'm detailed, but I'm not a censor. When I talk to censors, they're going to tell me about the burger that they ate and the mustard and the lettuce and how crispy it was and how they saw a bird fly by when they took a bite of the sandwich and how they took 27 steps to get to the mop and the bristles and the broom swept across the dust and picked. I don't talk like that. I don't think like that. I think I can get stuck in my own version of details. But my point is, I want to know I'm a whole picture. I'm the forest. That's what intuitives do. Sensors, they see the details. So, yes, knowing those facts about what sensors do and judges do and what how somebody's cognitive function impacts them, yes, that can help. That's a great starting point for me. But it's sort of like when I was learning to speak Spanish, at a certain point, the books, teaching you the rules and the sounds and learning different words, all of that was great. But it got to a point where I needed to actually just be in conversations. Because you see what I'm saying? So that's where my interpretation and things that I notice about people's Myers-Briggs types, it is driven by my ENFJ. A lot of it is my intuition and feeling preferences, which are my number one and number two cognitive functions. So C, I am using it, but I want to go beyond that. I don't even think in those terms a lot of times. I think of what would an ESFP do? What would an INTJ do? So let's say, like, I had a lady that came for me, and I don't want to get into all the details of that, but it was a situation where somebody else had made changes. It wasn't me, but she was blaming me for it. And so to convince this lady, I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, my question as an ENFJ would be, is does this person, number one, feel left out by people? Is that what's driving it? Number two, Was this person looking for a reason to come at me? And so as soon as they got the opportunity, I'm going to pounce on you. Number three, is this person, do they have narcissism going on, or envy or jealousy, or what is driving their behavior, or were they just having a bad day? So I want to figure out those things about most people that I come in contact with. I'm trusting my gut feeling when I'm telling you about different personality types. A lot of it is going with the gut, going with my intuitive interpretations, not just a book or something that someone has already prescribed for me. And therefore, I'm going to give you different insight than other people are going to give you. And not that what they're giving you isn't fantastic, phenomenal insight as well. It's just going to be different from what I see. And I don't know if all in ENFJs have street smart, maybe to a certain degree. I think because of things that I have gone through in my life, I don't fully trust people. There are people that I do fully trust, so I'm not saying that, but I'm always skeptical. I'm always skeptical. Like, I just need to play that out, figure out people. There's a part of me that has a wall up until I know or understand that, okay, this person is cool. This person is somebody that I can totally trust. Because there have been situations in which my empathic nature has caused me issues. It's like, my first cognitive function. You're going to say she is such a hypocrite. But it's extroverted feeling. So what drives me first is compassion, is connecting with people in an empathic or compassionate way. So sometimes that has gotten me into trouble. It's like the intuition, yeah, it's picking up on things, and I can look back and say, oh, you ignored that. You saw that, but you ignored it because for the sake of pleasing people, harmony, wanting to get along with people, that strong need for not having conflict with most people, unless it's somebody that I'm super familiar with, then I'm comfortable with conflict. But with most people, I am not. And so it's like the extroverted feeling can betray what the intuitive insight is giving. And so then you end up falling in a trap with somebody who is too enmeshed with you, too attached, too draining, too needy, because the ENFJ also has a propensity to want to fix people, fix things, heal people, make them better, and you can't always do that. Sometimes it's so much toxicity and brain wiring and dysfunction in people that you're wasting time and you're putting yourself in an unprotected situation. So that's why I also do a lot of videos on narcissism, borderline personality disorder, not only as a counselor, but just personally. I Even when you use criteria to diagnose people with those disorders, I like to go beyond that. It's not that I just like to go beyond it. It's like I'm just almost obsessed with figuring out other things besides what is just prescribed in a book. And some of that influence may come from an INTJ professor, psychology professor that I had in college who would tell us, I don't care who the author is, go beyond that. Question it, break it down. Don't just trust everything for what it is. Now, there are facts that have been proven in life, like what is an atom or a molecule or a bed sheets made of cotton or silk or whatever materials that different things are made of, or paper towels are made from trees. So I'm not talking about disproving facts, but I am saying that it is okay to question certain things so that you can go higher and deeper and not just accept the status quo, because that's how we build, that's how we get better. And so that's where a little bit of my edginess comes from with MBTI. And I'm just fusing things. I'm fusing psychology. I'm fusing a lot of things. So yeah, so check out my videos on MBTI if that's your thing, and see where my gut feeling leads me to telling you about them. It also has helped me that I have an ISTJ sister who also knows a lot about Myers-Briggs, and so we do fight about it. That's where the comfortable with conflict comes in, is with her, because we will argue about it and we'll get into such heated discussions, but it helps me to elevate. And that's what I see with some people who mistype people in the MBTI world. They don't have anyone challenging them to force them to kind of see something different or examine someone from a different angle. I think that's super necessary. So that's my brand of MBTI. Definitely check out my playlist. I got a lot of videos on, I would do more types, but certain types people won't watch, but I could tell you about them. So anyway, check out my books. A relationship book I wrote, and it's from my own intuition as well. Flip the Script on Love by Tamara Zyon. I'm trying to help people from my vantage point. You might disagree with everything in the book, but it's my vantage point. So check that out. If you're interested in narcissism, check out my book, The Workplace NaRCISSiST. And I'll put the links in the description box if you're curious. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.